Okay, so this is a discussion for financial statement analysis. Okay. So financial statement analysis involves your ratio analysis. When you say ratio analysis, we compare corporate data, specifically financial statement data. Okay, so there are different categories of ratios. We have liquidity ratios, assessment asset management ratios, sorry, liquidity ratios, asset management ratios, debt management ratios, profitability, and market value ratios. So ano ba yung difference nitong lima? Okay. Number one, liquidity ratios. Ang focus ng ratio nito is to provide information or a grasp or a preview of on how firms pay off their debts. Okay? Pag liquidity pinag-uusapan natin, we are only referring to short-term debts. Or like we have discussed before, this involves your current liabilities. Ano ba yung kakayahan ng company na magbayad ng mga utang niya that are maturing within a year? Okay? Next is yung assets management ratios. It gives an idea on how efficiently the firm uses its assets. So we have discussed before that the purpose of assets is to bring economic benefit to the entity who owns it. All right? So ginagamit yung assets for economic benefits. Okay? So ang minimeasure natin sa asset management ratio is nagagamit ba ng husto or ng tama yung assets para makapagbigay ng economic benefits? Okay? And next, we have your debt management ratios. Your debt management ratios give us an idea on how the firm has financed its asset and its ability to pay long-term debt. Okay. Kung yung liquidity ratios natin, ang focus natin is short-term debt, sa debt management ratios, ang focus naman natin is yung financing ng assets at saka pagbabayad ng long-term debt or yung mga non-current liabilities natin. And also, we have your profitability ratios, profit. Okay? How profitable the firm is. Gaano ba siya nagpo-produce ng tamang return? Okay? Nagpa-perform ba siya? So, pag profitability ratios ang pinag-uusapan natin, the focus here is how good is your income statement. Okay? May net income ka ba? Nabibigay mo ba yung expected return sa iyo? Expected return ng mga investors mo. Next is we have your market value ratios. So it gives an idea on how investors think. Ano ba yung value ng mga stockholders regarding sa true value ng entity. So ang focus ng market value ratios is sa value ng stocks ng entity. Okay? Okay, let's discuss each type of or category of ratios. Okay. Number one is liquidity ratios. When you say liquid, ability to pay short-term debts. Okay. Liquid ka kapag, kunwari sa tao, you can be called as something liquid kapag nababayaran mo yung mga maturing obligations mo. Nakakapag-operate ka ng tama or o yun nga, meron kang pambayad sa mga short-term obligations mo. Okay? One type of liquidity ratio is your current ratio. So current ratio is computed as your current assets divided by current liability. Ano ba ang purpose nito? Ibig sabihin, ano daw po yung capacity ng current ratios mo na pambayad sa current liabilities? Is your current assets enough to pay off your current liabilities? So ano na nga ba yung mga current assets natin? We have your cash, accounts receivable, you have your inventories, you have your prepaid expenses and trading securities. Those are your current assets. Enough ba yun para mabayaran yung mga current liabilities mo such as your accrued expenses, your accounts payable, yung magmamature for one accounting period. Okay? That's your current ratio. Next, we have a different version nitong current ratio. Sabi nga natin kanina, yung current ratio is enough ba yung current assets mo para mabayaran yung current liabilities. So kung Ililista natin lahat ng current assets. We have your cash, accounts receivable, we have your inventory, trading securities, and we have your prepayments, prepaid expenses. Okay. So kapag current ratio ang pinag-uusapan natin, all of these are part of your current assets. Pag quick ratio ang pinag-uusapan or also known as your asset test ratio, yung total nitong cash to prepayments, ima-minus natin si inventory. Okay. Ang usapan kasi sa quick ratio or sa asset test ratio is that gaano mo kabilis mababayaran yung short-term obligations mo. Okay? Kaya mina-minus si inventories sa formula. Nakita nyo, minus si inventories. It is because yung inventory, hindi naman yan convertible to cash agad. Kailangan mo pang magbenta, right? Eh, ang usapan natin, syempre, pag ikaw yung nagpautang dun sa entity, gusto mo, cash yan. Kaya mina-minus natin sa inventory kasi hindi yan madaling i-convert sa cash. Okay? So, titingnan natin dito sa quick ratio kung yung current assets that are easily convertible to cash is enough para bayaran yung current liabilities. Okay? So, almost similar sila ng formula ni current ratio. It's just that dudugtungan mo ng current assets minus inventories. May minus yung inventories. Kasi 'di ba? Pag sinisingil ka na, ano, pwede mo bang sabihin do'n sa naniningil sa'yo, "Eh, teka lang magbebenta muna ako." Eh, paano kapag wala kang nabenta? In short, there are some um, financial analysts who do not consider inventory as part of the current assets kasi kailangan mo pang mag-effort para magbenta yan. Hindi yan convertible to cash. Unlike your accounts receivable o maniningil ka lang, meron ka ng pera. Your trading securities, ibenta mo yan, meron ka ng pera. Yung prepaid expense, pwedeng ibalik mo muna yan for the meantime sa pinagbilhan mo, meron ka ng pera. Okay? So that's your quick ratio. Next, punta naman tayo sa asset management ratios. Anong purpose ng asset management ratios natin? Ang question na sinasagutan niyan is that does the amount of each type of asset seem reasonable, too high or too low given the current and projected sales? Okay. So in short, gaano natin na ma-maximize yung assets na meron tayo in order to produce yung um, yung sales. Okay? So, meron tayong, actually marami to eh. We have your inventory turnover ratio. Okay. So, sa inventory turnover ratio, gaano mo ba kabilis or ilang beses mo napapaikot yung inventory mo para makapag-come up ng benta. So, ang goal natin sa inventory ratio is the higher the better. Okay? Gaano mo kabilis mapaikot yung inventaryo mo para makapag-produce ng sales. Okay? So, ang formula natin for inventory ratio is sales divided by the inventories. Okay? So, higher the better. And then we have your day sales outstanding ratio. When you say day sales outstanding ratio, it is also known as your collection period. Okay? Gaano kabilis ka makakolekta ng utang? Your day sales outstanding can be computed as your receivables. Receivables in Tagalog is your pautang divided by your average sales per day. Or pwede rin naman ang formula dyan is receivables divided by the annual sales divided by 365. Kasi yung annual sales divided by 365 is also equivalent to your average sales per day. Okay? So, ito sa daily sales outstanding ratio, shorter. Kasi mas gusto natin na kapag nakabenta tayo at nilagay natin yun sa pautang, gusto natin yung collection period nun will be shorter. Ayaw mo ba makasingil agad? Siyempre gusto. Okay. Next is your fixed assets turnover ratio. Your fixed assets turnover ratio is that um, ano yung effect ng iyong fixed assets sa sales. Okay? So your fixed assets turnover ratio is computed as sales divided by net fixed asset. We also have your assets turnover ratio. When you say assets turnover ratio, ganun din sa concept ng sales natin. Pero yung isa kanina, yung fixed assets turnover ratio natin is fixed asset lang or your non-current assets. Ito, lahat ng assets mo, current at non-current. So, same lang din sila ng formula, binago mo lang yung sa baba. Yung sa baba, total assets naman. So, your total assets, your total sales divided by your total assets. Okay. Next, we have your debt management ratio. Anong pagkakaiba ng debt management ratio sa liquidity ratio? Yung liquidity ratio, nakafocus yan sa short-term obligations. Ano yung capacity ng organization to pay off its short-term organization? Meanwhile, sa debt management ratio, ang focus naman nito would be the ability of the firm to pay off its long-term obligation, yung kanyang mga loans and such. Okay? So, the first debt management ratio that we have here is your total debt to total capital. Your total capital is computed as total debt plus equity. Okay? So, kino-compute nito kung out of your, 'di ba? Your assets is equals to liabilities plus capital. Sa total capital, total debt over total capital, um, ilang portion ng side na ito yung applicable sa liability. So, 'di ba, nabanggit ko sa inyo, you need to have liabilities and capital in order to produce your assets. So, kino-compute ng formula na to kung ilang percentage ba ng liability, okay, ilang percentage ba ng total assets or ng total equity ninyo yung sinusupport or fina-finance ng liability or ng utang. Okay? Next, punta naman tayo sa times interest earned ratio. Okay, so ibig sabihin nito is, 'di ba, kapag nangungutang ka is meron kang interest na binabayaran. Yun yung cost of capital mo. Okay? So, ang kino-compute nito is ilang beses ba magiging enough yung income na nagge-generate mo to pay off yung interest. Kaya ang formula natin dyan is your earnings before interest and taxes. Diba na-discuss natin to in our previous discussion. I-divide natin yan sa interest charges. So, as much as possible, dito ay higher, better. Okay? Profitability ratios. Okay. Kapag ikaw ay nag-i-invest sa business, dito ka naka-focus. Gaano ba kabilis bumalik yung kita mo or gaano ba ka-profitable yung business kung saan ka mag-i-invest? Ito yung tinitignan ninyo. Ano bang pakinggan nyo dyan sa receivables outstanding, turnover, yung times interest earned? Ang gusto nyo lang malaman, ilang percentage ang kikitain ninyo sa business, di ba? Isa to sa mga pinaka-importanting ratios na kailangan ninyong maintindihan as future business owner or future managers. Okay. So, unahin natin yung operating margin or your profit margin. Okay. Your operating margin at saka yung profit margin ninyo, magkaiba yan. Okay. Pag operating margin, ang gagamitin ninyong formula is yung earnings before interest and taxes divided by sales. Ibig sabihin, pag tinignan natin kasi kung ano yung EBIT, or yung earnings before interest and taxes, ito yung income natin prior mo i-deduct yung interest and taxes. In short, naka-base lang talaga yan sa operations ng entity. Di-divide mo sa sales para makita mo yung operating margin. So, ang rule natin sa operating margin is the higher the better. Okay. Pag sinabi naman nating profit margin, itong earnings before interest and taxes, ililes pa kasi natin dyan si interest. Ililes pa natin dyan si taxes para makuha ninyo si net income. Kumbaga, ito na yung pinakamalinis na take-home pay ninyo. Okay? So, sa profit margin, ang ginagamit naman nating basis is the net income after ma-minus si interest at saka si taxes. Okay? So, net income divided by sales. For me, ito na yung pinaka-safest na dapat malaman ninyo. Kasi, nandyan na malinis na yan Net income na yan na yung dulo ng formula. Okay? So, ilang percent ang net income ninyo from the benta magkano ba yung tinubo ninyo based on your sales. Okay? We also have your return on assets. Your return on assets or ang other term ng ROA is to return on investment. Okay? So, ano yung return on assets or return your investment? Kasi, parehas lang yan. In a sense na yung assets is your investment as well. So, pag ang tinanong sa inyo is return on investment, the formula is net income divided by total assets. Pag ang tinanong sa inyo ay return on assets, net income divided by total assets din. So, ibig sabihin, out of your total assets, anong percentage niyan yung napoproduce mo na net income. Okay? Well, for your return on common equity, meron kasi tayo sa equity, it's more of an accounting. Meron kasi tayong tinatawag na preferred equity at saka common equity or yung preferred stocks and common stocks. Yung preferred stocks, percentage ng profit yung kanilang nakukuha as dividend. Yung common stock, whatever is remaining after makuha ng preferred stocks, yung kita nila, yun yung paghahati-hatian ng mga common stockholders. Okay. Yung return on equity is basically kapag bumili ka ng isang common stock, out of that stock, ano yung kinikita niyan? So, ang formula nito would be net income divided by common equity. We also have return on invested capital. Return on invested capital is your EBIT times your 1 minus tax rate divided by your total invested capital. Hindi ko na to masyadong i-discuss kasi hindi naman na masyadong ginagamit ang return on invested capital. Ang focus lang natin is your ROI, your ROA, si ROA, at saka si ROE. Tatlo yan eh. Si ROI, ROA, at saka si ROE. Okay? Pero, pag kayo ay naging business owners and managers, ito lagi dapat marunong kayong umintindi nito. Okay? Kasi yan yung ipopropose mo nakikitain ng mga investors kapag nag-invest sila sa company mo eh. Okay? Next, basic earning power ratio. Okay. Basic earning power ratio is computed as earnings before interest and taxes divided by your total assets. This shows the raw earning power of the firm's asset before the influence of taxes and debt. So kung makikita ninyo, parehas lang yan kay return on investment. Kaya lang, pinalitan natin ito ng EBIT kasi mas mababa yung net income compared kay EBIT dahil nga yung net income nabawas na dito si taxes at saka si interest. Dito hindi pa. So ang focus nito is sa operations talaga. Okay? Wala naman kasi magagawa ang operations sa interest at sa taxes. Okay? So yung EBIT natin represents yung true earning power ng firm. Okay? True earning power ng firm without considering yung interest at saka yung taxes natin. Then lastly, we have your market value ratios. When you say market value ratios, this assess kung ano ba yung perspective or tingin ng mga tao kung ano yung true value ng entity mo. Okay? So we have your price earnings ratio. Okay. So sa price earnings ratio, ang other term yan is market price per share divided by the earnings per share. Okay, magkano yung presyo ng share ngayon at magkano yung kinikita natin per share. Okay, that's your price earning ratio. Your market to book value ratio is una muna kailangan mong malaman ano ba yung book value. Yung book value is yan yung original investment mo. Naka-record sa books ng entity. 'Di ba na-discuss ko sa inyo ng stocks ng corporation ay eventually tumataas, bumababa. Okay? Yung book value, yan yung naka-record sa listahan. Bumili ka ng shares ngayon at 10 pesos per share, tapos, then yung book value mo. Pag tumaas yan, after 5 days, naging 12 pesos, that is your market book value. Okay? Your market value per share is computed as your common equity divided by shares outstanding. Okay? Common equity divided by shares outstanding. Kunwari, ang total equity mo is 10 million pesos. Total common equity. ang shares outstanding mo is 100,000 pesos. Ito yung number ng shares na nabili ng mga shareholders. Ibig sabihin, ang book value mo would be 100 pesos ba? I think 100 pesos. Yan yung halaga ng isang share na nakarecord sa books ng company. While your market price per share, magkano ba bentahan ngayon nung 100 pesos? It is computed as yung market price per share, yan yung bentahan ngayon sa market. Or kunwari, 100 pesos nga yung book value per share mo. It is selling nowadays at 120. Your market price is your 120. This one is your book value per share. So, para makuha mo yung market at saka market book value ratio natin, you have to divide 120 over 100. This is 120%, I think. Wait lang. Hindi na sa mate. Yeah, this is 120%. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, meron kang ng kinita sa pag-increase pa lang ng value ng shares na 20%. Okay? Using ratios as performance. Okay. It's important to use ratios as performance kasi mahirap lang yung dinadaan mo lang sa pakiramdaman. You have to have your figures, you have to do an analysis at kahit basic knowledge lang kailangan mo sa ratio analysis, it would be important. Okay? So, dapat naiintindihan mo yung sinasabi ng accountant. Kasi as accountant, hindi naman kami ang nagpapatakbo sa negosyo. Kayo naman yun. Okay? Kaya lang namin magbigay sa inyo ng interpretation, pero dapat as part of the business world, meron kayong basic knowledge ng financial analysis. Okay? So, comparison to industry average. Okay. So, kapag after mong makita yung financial ratios ng isang entity, you compare it to industry average. Actually, pagsasabayin ko na yung discussion natin sa bullet point 1 and 2. It's more of benchmarking. Pag industry average kasi, kapag mas mataas ka sa industry average, mas maganda, 'di ba? Kunwari, pumasok ka sa business ng food, ang industry average niyan, ang return on income should be around 20%. Ang return on investment mo is 50%. O di ibig sabihin, you are doing well compared to an average na pumasok sa food industry. While benchmarking, ano naman ang ibig sabihin ng benchmarking? You're comparing your company to others, but not just others. When you say others, dapat yung best in the market, benchmark. Okay. Kasi if the tendency na kino-compare mo yung company mo sa best, mas ginagalingan mo 'di ba? That is what you call as benchmarking. We also have trend analysis. Okay. Trend analysis is kino-compare natin yung financial ratios over time. Like for example, ang profit margin natin last 2023 is 25%. Mali pala. Last 2022 is 25%. This 2023, 20% ang profit margin natin. Anong nangyari? Bakit bumaba, 'di ba? So, this ratio analysis are very useful para ma-assess mo kung meron bang problema, meron ba tayong ginawang maganda. Okay, kung may ginawang problema or may mali tayong ginawa, you have to improve your operations. Kapag may, kunwari, from 25% umakyat kayo to 50% profit margin, anong ginawa ninyong magic? Ituloy-tuloy natin para patuloy na tumaas yung profit margin ng entity. Okay? Says limitation of ratios. Ratio analysis is used by three main groups: managers, credit analysts, and stock analysts. Managers, kaya nga na nabanggit ko, it is used to measure performance of the entity. Credit analysts, sila po yung nagpapautang sa mga businesses. Stock analysts, sila naman yung nagbibigay ng advice doon sa mga investors kung kaninong businesses ba pwedeng ilagay yung kanilang mga pera for investment. Okay? But ratio analysis is not always perfect. Meron din tayo na-encounter na problems such as follows. Number one, many firms have divisions operating in different industries. So yung kunwari San Miguel Corporation, very diversified yung kanyang business, okay? So, marami siyang i-consider na industry as well. But yung ratio analysis niya kasi, pinagko-combine yan since isang company lang naman ang San Miguel. So, parang ang hirap i-compare nung kanyang ratios doon sa mga industry ratios. Most firm want to be better than the average. Okay. This is also a good thing. Pero, minsan kasi, nagiging maganda nga yung numbers mo. However, yung impact mo sa community or sa society is hindi naman nagiging maganda. So, hindi na tinuturuan kayo sa iba't ibang mga subjects ninyo na hindi laging profit lang ang goal dapat ng business. Okay? Pangatlo, inflation has distorted many firms' balance sheet. Okay. When you see inflation, tumataas yung presyo ng bilihin. Like for example, pag nakakita ka sa financial statement ng 30 million pesos, thinking mo malaki yon. But because of inflation, ang true value talaga ng 30 million is maliit na lang ngayon. Okay? Seasonal factors can also distort ratio analysis, especially kapag eleksyon, politics, ganyan, economic related, may gera, o tignan nyo na lang yung sa gasolina, di ba? Nag-iiba siya because may gera, nagkakaroon ng disruption sa mga trading channels natin. Okay. Firms can employ window dressing techniques to improve their financial statements. Okay. Like for example, 'di ba nakita niyo sa financial ratios natin kanina, marami yung ginagamitan natin ng sales. Okay? Pwede ang pag sinabi nating window dressing, ang nangyayari diyan, kunwari meron kang year 1, tapos year 2. Year 1, syempre ang number of sales mo is dapat hanggang December lang. Okay? Para mas mapaganda mo yung financial statement ng year 1, yung sales ng January ng year 2, sinasama mo dito sa December para mas mataas. Ang tawag doon, window dressing. Tinataas mo yung value ng December using yung sales na na-incur mo or na-gather mo ng January para mas happy yung investors pag nakita nila yung financial statements ng year 1, which is wrong. Okay? And then, different accounting practices can distort comparison. Siyempre, sa perspective ng mga accountants kasi, iba't iba kami ng techniques na ginagamit. Okay? Depende which is beneficial for the entity or depende sa kung ano yung mas better para ma-explain namin yung accounting side. Okay? So, hindi mo maiko-compare yung accounting practices ng one company to another. Pangalawa, it is difficult to generalize whether a particular ratio is good or bad. Okay? Like for example, yung debt to equity, di ba? Pag ang tendency mo doon, makikita mo gaano kalaki yung percentage ng utang. So, is it good or bad? Is it good kapag mas mababa pa yung debt to equity? The answer is you cannot generalize. Kasi gaya nga ng nabanggit ko previously sa inyo, mas okay na mangutang kaysa kumuha ng stocks kasi yun, magbabayad ka lang ng interest rather than pag stocks, bayad ka pa ng profit. Oh. Kung ako, mas gusto ko yung mas mababang debt to equity ratio. Mas higher yung debt equity ratio. Mas okay na sa akin mas mataas yung utang kaysa naman yung forever ako magbabalik ng dividend sa mga business owners or stockholders ko. Okay? Ayun. Ganun din to. Ayun. So that's it for your ratio analysis. So your exam will be next week. The coverage will be from module 1 to module number 4, financial statement analysis. Good luck and I hope you do well on your examinations.